We are live now. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you. Episode 21. We got Christopher on the line. How you doing, Christopher? Keep it. 100%. Oh shoot. Do me a favor real quick. Do a mic check one, two. Oh man. We are not getting your audio standby. Sorry, folks. Let's try that and then that. Okay. Try again.
All right, trying again. One,
There we
two, one,
go.
two.
There you are, Christopher. Sorry about that, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
not a problem.
you were saying you're vibing on the whole pre-soap versus post-soap situation we're in right now.
Yeah, yeah. You'd asked me how I was, and I had said, we live in a time where it's still pre-soap. We are still before soap, like I talked about on our stream last week. Um, the BS, the AS thing. So it's an honor and privilege, Matt. I'm doing really great. If you're here, you're early. You're very early, and that's not a cliche or a meme at this point. Soap is not yet out in the world, so it's exciting times.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we're getting our toolkit fired up over here to do some vibe coding. We're grinding out in the old IDE, so I have to actually switch some things around. But for those of you who are just tuning in, those of you who are new around here, um, welcome. We are live on YouTube, Twitch, and X. So there's Dan.Quai, Dan the man. Shout out Dan. Let's fucking Quai. Absolutely. Can I say that on YouTube? I think I can. Might get demonetized though. Whoopsies. Anywho, you know what won't get demonetized are your custodial crypto wallets. And actually, if you are also a content creator or frankly want to support content creators or just get random tips for bangers on X, check out kipper.money. If you're new around here, scan that QR code up above. Great way to get signed up for Kipper Money. You earn some free crypto just for signing up. And if you engage with us here on X specifically, because Kipper.money has not yet expanded to other social media platforms, it will soon. Watch out for that. But if you engage with us here on X, we will be handing out some free quad, tipping you guys via Kipper Money, peer to peer, no middlemen, fully decentralized, censorship resistant crypto with real moonshot opportunities, not financial advice. Do your own research, but it's free crypto around here tonight, every Tuesday and Thursday night when we vibe code and hang out with Christopher and myself, members of the team behind Quai Network, BDM team. Although we do a little vibe coding on the side, and so that's what we're doing tonight. Um, yeah, let's see here. Last week we missed Thursday because that was Thanksgiving. On Quiet Friday, I told you all about my amazing uh, gravy that I made on Thanksgiving. So we weren't able to live stream on Thursday, but on Tuesday we dove into Wallet Connect. Let me get a browser fired up real quick so we can catch you guys up on what we built last Tuesday. Wallet Connect supports Quai Network now as a network chain ID, something that Wallet Connect can connect to. So we started building out a repo for that. Let me see if I can find this here. We'll pull this up and get you guys uh, a link to that if you're a builder and you're familiar with Wallet Connect. You can check this out and see how we implement the Quai chain in your standard Wallet Connect implementation here. Pretty geeky talk most of the time on these Tuesday and Thursday nights. I am thinking about some other content though, some general crypto content for this space, and talks with a few of my friends in the old Ethereum community, the old days of the more cypherpunk Ethereum scene. Some of my buddies from there might hop on a stream in a later date, but I will drop a link. Let's drop this. We'll drop this
That
here.
could be a whole thread, by the way, if we want it to be.
Oh, dude, go off, man. I gotta set this up. But real quick, let me bring this screen up so you guys can actually see this here. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. And we are looking at this one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'll zoom in a little bit here so you guys can actually read this. It's a GitHub repo demonstrating Wallet Connect integration with Web3 modal for the Quai Network. This Next.js application provides simple interface to connect wallets and display wallet information, including address and Quai balance. So there's some caveats here that we learned during the stream. So some things that are working are Wallet Connect integration via the Web3 modal, injected wallet connector support. That'll be your Pelagus wallet up here. That's a Web3 browser injected wallet. Hopefully I remember the password. I think that's it. Boom. Yep, that works. Display wallet address and Quai balance, and then it has a decent UI. So things to note, there are some limitations, right? So Wallet Connect has native support for the Quai Network chain. VM does not include Quai Network in its default chain definition. So the Quai Network chain is manually defined in applib quai.ts. If anybody out there is looking to cut their teeth on build out their open source portfolio, if you will. Um, Submitting a PR to VM to get the Quai network included now that this chain ID is actually officially on chain list should be a no-brainer. I mean, this is 14 lines of code. I think the actual definition that they require is maybe like 2 additional lines of code. So anybody should be able to easily submit a PR to VM to get Quai included by default, which would be really cool. Might do that sometime on a live stream if none of the community builders beat me to it. But shout out to anybody who is there. There's a few members of the Quai Network community submitting PRs, so respect to all you guys doing that. So that's a call out. The other thing you need to remember is the injected connector with the Wallet Connect and Web3 Modal and VM frameworks use the ETH namespace. The ETH namespace does not consider sharded address space, so Quai Network sharded blockchain. And because of that, the ETH namespace really struggles with writing to Quai Network, but it can read it just fine. Some folks have gotten it to work with writing. I would just be careful, right? Just acknowledge that the ETH namespace and most libraries that interact with the ETH namespace are not shard aware. So you could run into some failed transactions there. The good thing is, if you try to submit a transaction on Quai Network to an address that is not in a proper shard space, it will fail. It will not actually execute that transaction. You will not lose your funds. So that's good news. But just be aware of that. The other thing you'll want to consider is Wallet Connect. The way it's implemented here depends on QR codes, right? So if you want to connect your wallet via Wallet Connect, you'll have to scan a QR code or use a wallet that Wallet Connect supports, right? So while Wallet Connect does support Quai Network via the chain ID, it does not have Pelagus currently integrated, right? So Pelagus wallet, that's this bad boy here, is not ready out of the box for full-on Wallet Connect. Additionally, our mobile wallet, Blip, has the ability to scan QR codes. It just hasn't been implemented yet. So there's still some work to be done here to fully realize this. However, one thing that we could probably test, it's hard to do it on a live stream, but what we, at least right now, but what we could probably test in the near future is using our Tangent wallets. So if you're not tracking Quai is fully integrated with Tangem, the greatest hardware wallet on the market for the value, for the price, guys. And there are a very, very limited number of Quai branded Tangem wallets floating around. So if you're lucky enough, you might have won one recently by participating in a um, Kipper giveaway. Here's what it looks like. Ooh, super fancy. Um, but if not, keep your eyes peeled because we got a few extra to give away around here, and we might do that sooner rather than later. So for all of you who are tuning in today, make sure you give us a follow. It really helps. Definitely follow us here on X. I need 1,000 followers just to get analytics on X, by the way, which is kind of annoying, but you think they would give you just basic analytics, but they don't. I know they record them. Um, so,
I think out of anybody that actually deserves to get to 1,000, it's definitely you and all the work that you've been putting in. So guys, if you aren't following Matt, which you should be, make sure you fucking you hit that like, hit the like and follow, as they like to say, right?
yeah, please do. It'll definitely help. Additionally, it'll also help on Twitch. And then if you guys are hanging out with Quai Network on the regular and you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, you definitely want to do that. Veronica's putting out some really cool videos. So smash those. Check out Kipper Money. I see some community members already hopping in the chat. What up, Dan? What up, Crypto Vegeta? Um,
Vegeta,
Vegeta?
that's Vegeta, bro.
Is it Vegeta?
Dude, did you? Oh my, Matt.
What?
Everything I just said about subscribing to Matt, just forget about it. Oh
I'm
my
sorry,
god.
man. I'm sorry, man.
I've been rocking the Super Saiyan here for like ever, dude.
Would it? I'm not hip to Dragon Ball Z, man. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No one's perfect.
I'm sorry. I missed out on that one. I watched Ghost in the Shell and Evangelion and Full Metal Alchemist, but I did not. I did not. I'm sorry, Crypto Vegeta. I did not get Dragon Ball Z. My bad, guys. My
It's
bad.
okay. I'm just glad I'm here.
Crypto Vegeta. Vegeta.
Vegeta. It's
Vegeta.
acceptable.
Crypto Vegeta. Shout out. We definitely got to get you some tips. So stand by one. Stand by one. We got to get these guys some tips. Get them some Quai. Oh man, I just left the
Just so you
chat.
guys
Why did I
know,
do that?
also, since we have some kippers in the chat,
Mm-hmm.
we
Mm-hmm.
have submitted requests for feature functionality to tip you directly in the chat. I can't let you know, like, because I'm not developing the thing when that'll be ready, but it's something that, as someone that has joined every week and been in the chat with you guys in the trenches, and I've just really wanted to be able to tip you directly in the chat. I think that'd be really cool. So
It's
I submit
coming.
that.
It's coming. It's coming. Yeah, Dan obviously is not a uh Dragon Ball Z connoisseur like
Yeah.
Christopher, and I am strong hands. There you go, guys. Just sent
Yeah,
you some
from
Quai.
seventh grade, man, all the way to 10th. It's like, and and
Oh
then
man.
I grew up or something. I don't know.
Anywho, so that's what we built last Tuesday. Um, what we haven't finished is our dashboard. The dashboard, we're still working through the dashboard. That's kind of a big project. I might have bitten off more than I can chew to build this thing from the ground up, but we're probably going to dive back into that today, at least check in on it. Um, Unfortunately, I've had to reboot my computer a few times between now and the last time we worked on it. So the the Quai node that we run locally, has not had to be been rebooted, and the SQL database, sorry, has not been rebooted. So everything, at least locally, should be ready to go. But I need to fire up this. I need to fire up these scripts here. So give me a moment to work on that. Meanwhile, Christopher, I think you had something to say about OG Ethereum cypherpunks.
I mean, yeah, I definitely do. I don't need to. All right. Well, I will step on the soapbox for a second. I am not necessarily a traditional hacker. I'm decently tech proficient. However, you wouldn't think so, but I would. Like I've built a computer before. People, my family would come to me when they needed tech stuff done. But yes, I'm not super deep. But I find it absolutely hysterical that Ethereum and Ethereum people inside of Ethereum would promote and push cypherpunk values. Guys, like let's just let's just speak plain English. Ethereum is quite literally owned by the West. Okay, if you go to their foundation, Ethereum Foundation, it's public, it's open. You can go check it out. You can confirm this fact. Anything they do, period, will be anti-cypherpunk. Period again. It's just how it is.
Sad.
Like you can't be cypherpunk and WEF. It just like literally it's it just doesn't it's the opposite. It's like those that is they do not work. Fire and ice. Right? Like sky and
S-
ground, the exact opposite.
Sad.
So we see this all the time and it kind of sucks because you can see the LARP goes deep. You can see the LARP goes really deep. You can see a lot of people, especially VC class, the well-to-do corporate types. They love to talk about this. But the thing is like if you try to confront them or reveal any of the truth or just like, hey, look at this, and try to engage in conversation, they won't. They will completely ignore it. It's quite literally the awkward elephant in the room, or the same style of ignoring you would expect from corporate executives. So again, it's a glaring flaw. It's very real. Everyone knows it. You can point it out. You just will get ignored. People shoot you down and throw you to the side. So if you try to reveal the truth, that is. But imagine this world where both Ethereum and Solana didn't exist. How many rug pulls? How many pump.fun scams? How many projects that promised the world and then stole everyone's money would have been saved? How many of those would have been saved from? That's my question. And it sucks because both don't give a shit about cypherpunk ideals. At least Solana doesn't LARP it, and they're just like, yeah, we don't care at all. I went to a meetup. Sorry, this is long, but I went to a meetup maybe 2 months ago here in Austin, just part of the day to day that I do here. And I met some Solana developers there, and guess what? Very direct, like not even mincing words or hiding it. I actually respected the guy I was speaking to who said this. But yeah, he doesn't care. He's got the compliance and he's making money, right? Like that's all he gives a shit about. And it's hard to blame him a little bit, but he said very directly he's not in it for a Satoshi ideal. So to get off my soapbox and to kind of conclude this rant, hopefully that was enough time for you, your thing, brother. But yeah, it sucks. It's real. The one thing that I do like about what Ethereum brought to the world, programmable blockchains, that's actually useful. And what Uniswap did was to allow KYC free swaps between crypto tokens. So that was also a major plus and innovation. Tornado Cash, people will look to Tornado Cash for privacy. The truth is when it was released first initially, yeah, it worked. In fact, that was tip of the hat. I know we know the creator, right, Matt? I
Hmm.
mean, and so tip of the hat to you, sir. Actually, I guess it's Roman, but he was also instrumental in marketing. But guess what, man? And guess what, guys? That shit's washed. I would not use that if you're trying to do bad things. I don't do bad things. But if you're trying to like obfuscate your cash on Ethereum using Tornado Cash, you're not doing it the right way, and you're being watched. Same with Aztec as an L2. To get in or out, like it's right there. So the cypherpunk thing, I just find it laughable. Any real cypherpunks, and again, I'm like I want to be. I'm just not smart enough to code, right? Or pay. Really, I have ADD. It's the thing, but any real cypherpunk would never go on Ethereum. Just facts, just period, point blank, period. Any real cypherpunk would avoid Ethereum and Bitcoin and Solana because they're all traceable and they're all monitored and they're all captured. So
Yeah.
sucks. It is what it is.
Yeah, I'm seeing. I genuinely wonder sometimes because there's some really intelligent people in these spaces that still promote those ideals and they still believe that it's possible in those ecosystems. Um, like Paul Stork today, guys. Like shout out Paul Stork for, everything that he's done for Bitcoin. Um, but he had a tweet today. He was commenting on an article somebody wrote about Breaking Bad, the TV series, where, main character gets diagnosed with cancer and, needs to like get on this health plan with all these drugs and he can't afford it. So he starts cooking meth in order to like pay for his medical expenses. And the concept of the article was that basically in today's modern oncology and system of payer coverage, Walter White from Breaking Bad would not have to resort to cooking meth and selling meth in order to pay for his medicine. And Paul Stork was like, instead, what really blows your mind is most Breaking Bad makes no sense in a world that contains Bitcoin. Really, Paul Stork? Really? And so somebody asked him to elaborate, do you mean the whole money laundering issue would be trivial? And he goes, many plot points. The crawl space, wifey taking money, SaveWalterWhite.com, nail salon, car wash, weighing the bed of money, barrels of money in the sand, stolen, rolling the final remaining barrel across the desert. Makes no sense when Bitcoin is used for drug transactions. And I'm like, wait. Hold up. You mean if Bitcoin is used for drug transactions, has privacy and the throughput needed to actually support all those transactions, then this starts to make sense. And by the way, Paul Stork, we actually do live in a world with Bitcoin today. It just doesn't work as advertised, right? And so that's like one example, but I mean, again, shout out to Amin for everything he does, but I mean, it's clearly like at a certain point, the cancer has taken the patient, man. You need to move on. You need to move on to, building a better foundation to actually achieve what you're hoping to. Um, and what
Yeah.
I'm starting to learn is, a lot of these quote unquote developers, they just don't want to take on the task, right? And I feel like they have the same faith that I had up until late 2023, where every other open source technology out there, you know, um, fixes its issues, like frankly, really fucking quickly, right? We're running Linux on this machine right now. Linux runs like 99% of all internet, infrastructure, servers, devices, right? Like your computer in your car is fucking Linux at this point. So, and if you were a technologist who's familiar with open source technology from like those ecosystems, which is basically every ecosystem underneath the internet as we know it, you understand that as soon as a bug is discovered, it's like fixed same day. And it's fixed same day because, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of people are looking at the source code and they're constantly improving it. Like all innovation really happens in these open source projects and then gets productized by closed source projects or like Microsoft, Apple, like etc. Right? But in crypto, even though the protocol is open source, the shit doesn't get fixed. It just doesn't. And what you start to realize is that, like the engineering of a blockchain is less of a technical code problem and it's more of a market incentive design problem, right? It's more economics than it is information technology, right? Um, and so, like somebody who understands information technology like deeply takes like one look at a blockchain and goes like, holy shit, that's like way over my fucking head. And frankly, like the in order for these systems to operate at a speed that and efficiency levels, they have to use lower level programming languages that frankly most people are not familiar with, right? Like Go is relatively popular these days. But there's just, the majority of quote unquote IT professionals out there that can code, like they're all using higher level programming languages like JavaScript, Python, etc. Um, so even smart contract development, Solidity is a JavaScript type language, right? It is compiled down to bytecode, but 99% of those engineers don't understand bytecode. So it is a completely different problem than the rest of open source projects out there when it comes to crypto. So I frankly think that to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, I think they just don't have the chops to actually build something better. Instead, they're stuck in JavaScript making new versions of Tornado Cash. And that's the end of my rant there.
No,
So
that was awesome. I didn't know like half that, so it was great.
yeah, and shout out Crypto Vegeta. That's why I'm deep on Quai. You guys really want to change money in a positive way with hard work. Yeah, I mean one thing I think we all learned recently is like two of the biggest core engineers here at Quai Network are physicists and economists, right? They know how to code, but everything we do is from a proper market incentive design lens, right? Like even our stablecoin, um, is from a market lens. Let the market be the oracle. Don't go and build databases that you have to depend on to provide you the information you need. The market provides you the information you need. We just need mature markets, right? And the beauty of proper market incentive design is even in an immature market, there's always a profit motive, right? And so in an immature market, there's opportunity for people to make a lot of profit, and in doing so, they mature the market, right? So immature markets, as long as they have exposure, as long as they have distribution, become mature really quickly. And so, that's kind of the challenge now with Quai Network Live and the protocol fully baked. That's what the team is hard at work at is um, creating that distribution via raising awareness through price action and better economic design for external participants to get in early through Project SOAP. So I don't believe we went into testnet quite yet, but that was the team's goal was to get into testnet today. So I'm still expecting an announcement at some point. Maybe while we're on the stream, Christopher, you'll have to keep an eye on it for me.
Yeah, I will. I know it's a little. They're actually in the room right now working on it, so maybe
Oh,
it'll happen while we're live.
hell yeah, hell yeah, rock and roll. Well, enough of that for now. Getting back to what we're building here, you can see we have this dashboard. If you haven't been keeping up with us, this is what we're working on, a dashboard to track growth across the network and get some basic statistics. There are other ways of getting information off of Quai Network today. This one's going to be a little more focused on growth statistics, something that both the BDM team here at Quai Network has been asking for some time to understand. Are people actually using the chain? How are they using the chain? What, excuse me, how many smart contracts are being deployed? What smart contracts are driving all the activity, etc. This is going to really help us out along the way. But some other places where you can go and get statistics today. Obviously, QuiScan is our block explorer. So this is obviously up to date and tracks basically everything you'd expect a block explorer to track. When it comes to network stats, you can look at stats.quai.network. This has some more information about just the network in general. If you want to see things like TPS, what's the current block height, how many transactions in the last hash rate. If you want to look at gas and state, it does have some exchange rate information for the two tokens. Um, KQuai versus KChi, slip, conversion flow, stuff like that. And some node stats, right? So these are the main nodes that the Quai Foundation is running. So you get some stats on the nodes here. The community is also running some nodes, but it looks like most of them have turned off their login. They've gone dark. So during test nets, our node wranglers were submitting their information here, and they could see their node and what their zone height was, etc. But you can see here some basic network stats. That's a good place to look. If you're interested in the Quai to Chi conversion ratios and what those look like, you can go to conversions.quai.network. This is effectively a snapshot, like at this point in time. It doesn't look like the Chi price history chart is currently working, which is unfortunate, but you can see current conversion rates compared to USD. And this is pulling, I believe, from CoinGecko data. You can see that here. I should zoom in a little bit so you guys can actually read this. And then you can run a conversion calculator, right? This will also tell you what your estimated slippage is for converting between Chi and Quai, and then you can actually perform those conversions here in your Pelagus wallet. Note, native conversions are meant for market makers, right? So this is just a warning to let you know, hey, if you don't know what you're doing, you probably don't want to convert here because you'll incur some slippage, right? Slippage is based on overall flow in conversions. So the amount you're converting takes that into account. You can see one Chi to Quai, I get a 0.6 percent expected slippage. If I do 10, it's going to go up a little bit. 100, I've maxed out at like 90%, right? So when you're using convert here, I believe you can set your max slippage, right? And so that will revert if your max slippage is lower than what the protocol expects. But those are some places where you can get some data today. On our dashboard, where we're really working on some really basic growth metrics to start, and then we'll dive in much deeper. You can see on the home page here, we're tracking blocks, total transactions, EVM versus ETX. ETXs are external transactions. Initial Coinbase transactions, so miners earning tokens show up as ETXs. Conversions between Quai and Chi are external transactions. If you wrap or unwrap Chi, that is move your Chi to and from the Quai ledger, those are also external transactions. And then lastly, when the network expands and a new shard is created, transactions between shards will also be external transactions. So external transactions are basically transactions that have to bubble up to the top of our hierarchy of merge mine chains here, and then get replayed out in the zone chain that they're destined for. Right now we only have one zone chain, so if you do a conversion, that transaction gets bubbled up, or you wait for the next prime block. And then once that prime block hits, it will get played out in the next zone block. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, don't worry about it. It's not important right now. You can see we're doing transaction types over time. We spent last time we worked on this, we spent some time fixing these graphs. We're now showing daily instead of hourly views. We fixed these tooltips here so they actually work. We also have averages and raw. So you can see that. We got mining difficulty, network hash rate, transactions per block. We can go out a year here and see those. And then uncle rate. Uncle rate is important for understanding network growth. So as uncles are created and they're sustained, if the uncle rate is sustained, that signals to the network that there is high demand for block space, and there's a lot of transactions per second running on the network. And so when uncle rate gets sustained, we can plan for a network expansion, aka a new shard being created. Um, yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. Really appreciate that, Vegeta. We also do some basic account metrics. So this is looking at new accounts, total transactions, average active accounts, and transactions sent. And we also have some basic contract metrics, active contracts over time, new contracts over time. We can see November 10th. I called this out last time, man. Like, what happened on November 10th? Who was building? Who was building? So later we'll be able to dive into that and learn more, see what those smart contracts are. Maybe we find out, a new project. Maybe we can get some alpha off of this dashboard here. That'd be pretty cool. And then you can see contract interactions. This is quite a few going back to November. Um, and then it drops down up until current. So you also notice we're missing some data, right? So like I said, we had to reboot this machine, which was running those scripts. So I just fired those back up. And you can see we are a little bit behind the latest block here. We are currently processing, I want to say about 100,000 blocks we need to process here to catch up. So we actually run two scripts to get this data. Scripts are, again, being running on my machine locally. We might move those to one of those other machines that doesn't get rebooted so often. But they are pulling data off of my local Quai node that's fully indexed, running RPC calls against this local Quai node and storing it in a SQL database right above. So um, we have two scripts. One gets all the block data. Okay, that's the first script. The next script actually runs those metrics calculations, right? So we don't want to shove like 5-second block times, guys. We don't want to shove all that data to the browser. We want to aggregate that and generate daily, uh, actually hourly, and then daily metrics. So that's what this script is doing. It is, excuse me, it is running through all the latest block data in the SQL database and generating hourly and daily and weekly metrics for our dashboard. So, the last thing we did, if I remember correctly, is we actually completely refactored our metric script. We were missing a lot of contracts and we were calculating transaction metrics all wrong. Um, so uh, what I'm going to do, because we've been working on this so long, is the first thing I'm going to do is we should have some more tokens here to use some of the additional models. Yeah. So we have Composer. What I'm going to do is tell it we need what I'm going to do ultimately is I'm going to up a GitHub repo so everybody else can follow along and also so we can save our progress. Namely, that way if this machine gets nuked, we can start all over. So um, first thing I want to do is check our environment.example. I think this is looking accurate. We want to change this to uh, your PG SQL DB IP, your PG SQL DB port, uh, uh, your PG SQL. Ugh, my Q key is like super sensitive for some reason. SQL DB user, your PG SQL DB password, and your PG SQL DB name. Okay. Um, so Quai RPC details. Recommend using local node for fastest sync times. So I'm going to change this to localhost. And those are fine. Those are fine. Those are fine. Okay, so we save that. Now let's ask the AI to update. Let's update the project README to better reflect what we're actually building. So we'll update the README. That'll be important for anybody looking to dive into this project and pick up uh, from the beginning and where we left off. Look how fast this thing is, man. Holy cow. Oh man, the new cursor model is absolutely insane. Okay. Comprehensive blockchain analytics dashboard, data synchronization, project real-time monitoring, historical analysis, detailed metrics, blah, 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 blah. Network overview, transaction analytics, network metrics, account metrics, contract metrics, block sync daemon, batch processing, resume capability, transaction type support, authoritative list, time-based aggregation, account classification, contract tracking, front end, back end, database, background services, prereqs, installation, fill out your environment variables, uh, initialize the database, start the server, run the sync, yep, run the metrics update, check the logs for all of the above, yada, yada, yada. Cool. Okay, so now that that is up, we're going to fire up a new GitHub repo for you guys. So let me do that over here. Mm-hmm. And let's just create this repo real quick. What do we call this? Quai data dashboard. Quai data dashboard. Description. Can I pull the description from here? Yeah, it's short enough. Copy, paste. Um, yada yada yada. Okay, let's also add a license file using MIT. There we go. Review next file, MIT license. Cool, cool. So the MIT license is up. Now we need to get init, get add everything. What we don't want to add is logs. These files are quite large. So let's check our git ignore. Okay, so we're not going to add the logs. Git commit, first commit. Okay, git branch, they go m main. Little history lesson for you guys. Git's default branch name wasn't always main. Can you guess, Christopher, what they changed it from and why?
Um, no,
Okay. They changed it from master. Now can you guess why they changed it?
because they're a loser.
So Git's,
A little PC.
yeah, man, they went PC. They went fucking woke, dude.
It's lame as shit.
Yeah, so Git's default branch name used to be master, and Git, the open source tool, Git, still uses master as its default branch name. But if you want to push to GitHub, you have to change your branch name to main, otherwise it doesn't know where to put it anymore because GitHub's default branch names now they don't use master anymore. Master was a microaggression, so they took that away.
Losers. To me,
Right.
it's just a Metallica song.
All right. So we renamed our branch to main. That always I'm gonna laugh at that every time I read this.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, that's a good fun fact, man.
yeah.
Fucking losers.
Quai. Look at that. My Q key. My Q key's just like super excited right now. Git push negative view origin main. Boom. Done. All right, so let's check this out. All right, so now at least we're saving our progress here. Cool. Cool. Yeah, fucking rock on. Rock on. Let's see here. Thanks for tuning in, Crypto Vegeta. Appreciate you. All right, guys. So here's the GitHub repo. If you guys want to dive in, try it out for yourself and follow along. Um, just keep in mind, highly recommend you run a local node and a local database for storing all this information. Your local node will need to be fully synced and indexed, right? So you'll want to run some extra commands on your node to make sure you're indexing all those chi transactions as well. Um, FYI, you cannot do that from a snapshot. So you have to start from scratch all over again. The snapshot is not a great way to get a fully indexed node. That means all the data. You can get all the Quai transactions from a fully indexed node, but getting every single Chi transaction uh, is just at this point better recommended to use a sync from scratch. So you'll need that. You'll also need a local PG-SQL database. And at this point, I believe the node is approaching 100 gigs in data. And our PG-SQL database, let's just verify real quick, just so you guys know. Let's go to machine one, SU, go Quai. Look at that Q key, man. It's just sound like turbo mode or something. What local share go quai. Yeah, local share. And max depth equals 1. 120 gigs is your local node, fully synced indexing. And then machine 2. Let's see, amount server. Yeah, so inch max depth equals 1. Um, oh, let's try this. Max depth equals 1. 97 gigs in the database. So you're going to need, I would say, 150 gigs for your node, 150 gigs for your database at this point. So FYI, and then clearly, obviously, use SSDs for the best performance. But that's what you'll need to tune in and follow along and build your own dashboard. Um, so yeah, there's the link. We got that up. Like I said, where we left off was kind of rejiggering our metrics aggregation workflow here. So it was overly complicated, way too complicated, and we were missing a bunch of data. So the new workflow, where we left off, is we walk through some simple steps here. Step 1, we identify and record net new accounts and contracts. And there's some caveats to identifying contracts. It's a two-step process for identifying contracts. Again, first, the transaction.to field is going to be null. And then if you look at the transaction receipt, which you don't get in the block data, you'll have to do another RPC call to verify this and get the actual transaction receipt data. That contract address is actually populated. So when the transaction .to field is null or blank and the receipt actually has a contract address, that is a contract creation transaction. Okay. So that's step 1. Step 2 is we classify the transactions. We have Quai transactions, we have Chi transactions, we have ETX transactions. And then we also have contract interactions, transactions to previously identified contracts. Okay. Step 3 is we classify all that data. We aggregate it based on hourly, daily, and weekly metrics. Um, and we had some really big gaps in how this was happening. So AI looked through our current workflow and discovered all this and updated it. They also required some database changes. So if I look in here, these are the database migration files. And I also look in metrics aggregation. We need to adjust our front end, that being our dashboard here, to actually use that new data, right? This is still like total accounts way too low, way too low. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to say last major change we made was to refactor the metrics aggregator script to review this and the database files and make sure the UI for account and contract metrics is utilizing the database properly and displaying correct information. Here we go. Oh, sorry guys, you're not even watching me. Boom! There we are. Way better. Cool beans. Alright. Meanwhile, guys, come join us on X and earn some Quai. Whoa! Gosh, guys, this thing is
Guys,
so fast.
follow Matt. If you're not following Matt on X, follow Matt. Got the
Thanks,
chat.
Christopher.
Gotcha.
Uh, Holy cow, this thing is so fast, guys. Okay, cool beans. Um, Rock on. All right. Okay, well it's done. Let's take a peek. Let's see what's changed here.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Hey Matt.
Yo, what's up? Are you saying something, Christopher? Did I lose you?
Okay, well it's done.
Uh-oh. Might have lost Christopher. Well, hopefully he comes back. Anywho, so we got some chats here. We got Kashi mining. We need some miner choice
I think
data
it's me.
graphs.
I think it's me.
Oh yeah, you're wigging out a little bit. Veronica says, I need more ads on the screen to look more professional. That's hilarious. Well, okay, so real quick, shout out Veronica for tuning in. Thanks. Glad to have you. And Kashi mining, Quai Chi choice data. That would be super interesting as well. It's something that's being asked for, so we're definitely planning on getting to that as well. We're just working through some minor issues on data collection here. But thanks for tuning in, and also if you haven't heard, if you join us over here on X, we'll be able to shoot you some free Quai. But anyways, okay, so the AI took a hack at it, and I'm still not seeing the total account number I'm expecting. I'm expecting something a lot closer to like 70,000 here. So we're gonna go back to cursor and ask it to deep dive here. Let's deep dive the total accounts metric. Um, at this point in the block height, I'm expecting something closer to 70,000 accounts, but it's only showing 35, I'd say approximately 35,000. God, it is so fast right now. Okay, so Kachimani says no visual stuff. He's looking for Quai Chi choices. No visual stuff for that or data stuff. Only conversion flow data. So question, Kachimani, are you looking to see what miners are currently selecting, or do you want to see like maybe the payout amounts, like how much is being paid out in Quai versus Chi? We might the latter we might be able to do a whole lot easier. Miner selection might be a bit more difficult, but I'm sure we can figure it out. man, this AI is so fast. All right, let's see what it did. Um, okay. The issue is that total accounts is computed incrementally from new accounts in period, which only includes accounts that first appear in new blocks. This misses accounts that first appeared earlier, checking the authority of accounts table and updating the logic to use it directly. The issue, total accounts is computed incrementally, yada yada yada, which only includes accounts that first appear in new blocks, missing accounts that first appeared earlier. Fixing the query for the authoritative accounts. Cool. Daily aggregation uses max total accounts from hourly, which should be correct now. Adding a safeguard to use the accounts table directly for daily aggregation as well, and verifying the fix. Oh, it updated our metrics aggregator. Dang.
All right, am I back? Hello?
Yeah, you're back.
All right.
I'm just reading through the changes here. The query now counts from the accounts table for each hourly period with an index on first seen block. This should be efficient. Yada yada yada. Rerun the metrics aggregator, regenerate hourly metrics with correct totals. Oh no, we have to rerun the metrics aggregator. This actually doesn't take too long. Um, but yeah, wah wah wah. This metrics aggregator, guys, it's being a pain in our butt, but that's all right. That's all right. There's a lot of nuance here, guys. There's a lot of nuance here. So let's see here. This is the metrics aggregator. We need to stop it. We need to stop it. Okay. Let's stop the metrics aggregator. Reset the metrics database and rerun the metrics daemon. Yeah, stopping the metrics aggregator takes some time. It's yeah. It tries to die softly. What's the word I'm looking for? Safely. It tries to kill the metrics daemon safely. And while the process is chunking on data, uh, the typical stop command waits. For the last process to complete. I'm just double checking here that it reset the metrics database. Hmm. Let's pop this out here. Yeah, it doesn't look like it dumped the database properly. So it doesn't look like we reset the database properly. See error. Line 1, command not found. Miner plus Kashi Mining saying he's looking for miner plus converter activity. Adjusted difficulty, which might be in a block header. This stuff can be calculated manually though, which is what big booty MMMs will do. What's an MMM? MMS?
Oh, I'm muted. They're market makers.
Oh yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, totally. Yeah, so that's interesting, man. Yeah, okay, okay. I should have known that. So miner plus converter activity. Yeah, so we're definitely capturing conversion transactions, right? So we'll be able to show historical flows to and from Quai and Chi via that. Um, we should also be able to show payouts in either Quai or Chi. Um, Based on Coinbase transactions and destinations, whether it's a Quai or Chi wallet. So we got those two, and then adjusted difficulty. Um, that's obviously in the header as well. So we have all that. We'll definitely be able to display that. To do, to do, to do. Okay, let's see what happened here. So let's look at our logs. Okay. All right, metrics aggregator's running again. So we'll give it some time. If we jump back to our dashboard, we should see like all our metrics disappear, I'm assuming. Yeah, all the metrics are gone. No sweat. We will get those back momentarily. And then hopefully we'll have better account metrics here. So anyways, let's talk through this, Christopher. This is an interesting use case here. So a market maker looking to take advantage of the Quai Chi arbitrage opportunity, they'll definitely want to see uh, flows. What direction are most people converting in, and the amount. That'll give them insight into how much they can convert, what direction the market is heading. Obviously, you can look at conversion rates on external markets compared to the native market to understand the arbitrage opportunity. But say you see an arbitrage, like we're looking at, let's demonstrate this real quick. So we go to QuaiScan as the only external, not QuaiScan. What was it? QuaiSwap. Yeah, QuaiSwap. You go to QuaiSwap, and you also go to conversions, and you see that one chi in the protocol is worth 33 Quai, but in the external market, one chi is worth 32 Quai. Now that's 32.9 compared to 33.4. That's the closest I've ever seen it, actually. Anyways, still an arbitrage opportunity, right? I could buy chi here and sell it here and make a profit, right? Okay, so I identified an arbitrage opportunity. Now, what I want to know is what the market is actually doing to understand my opportunity in terms of like time and amount, right? I want to know how much I can convert before I incur slippage, um, and take into account conversions that are already happening that could impact this price, or if there's, an opportunity based on everybody converting in one direction, right? So if somebody is moving the price, there's another opportunity potentially in another direction. So that's one thing that conversion activity can show me. In terms of miner preference, so if miners are preferring Chi or Quai, that could also be impacting price because they're conducting hash arbitrage. Okay, I feel like I'm starting to wrap my head around this. So basically, we need to understand um, conversion flows, what direction they're heading in, and we need to understand what miners are actively mining. And that'll give us a general idea of what the opportunity is outside of external markets as well as just in the protocol itself, right? So if, let me think about this for a second out loud. Kashi, feel free to chime in here, but um, if miners are preferring Quai and they're minting more Quai, then the supply of Quai is going up and the Chi to Quai price should be going down. I think I got that right. Yeah. Yeah. So, we got to hold certain things static and move like one variable at a time here. So if everything's static and miners are preferring more Quai over Chi, I can get really cheap Quai and convert to Chi for them to switch later for when the market prefers Chi. I'll have stacked a bunch of Chi and I can convert back. I think I'm understanding that correctly. Am I going off a cliff here, Christopher? Does this make sense?
Okay, I'm sorry. I am currently working on a fire I'm putting out, and you'll see it inside internal Discord in a second. But what
Oh,
did you say?
snaps.
It's not nothing you have to be concerned about.
Oh,
It's
okay.
but
Um,
what
well,
was the question?
I was working through, a market maker opportunity, like holding a bunch of variables static. So if everything is static, except for miner preference, like miners are choosing to mine more Quai over Chi, uh, Quai could potentially become, and there's a lot of moving parts here. So they're doing that because the price of Quai is high, right? That's why they want to mine. What was Kashi say? That made sense to him. Okay, thanks, Kashi. So to reiterate here, miners are preferring Quai over Chi because the price of Quai is high. When they mine all that Quai, the price of Quai will come down, and that'll make Chi more valuable. So I might want to, convert at a high price to Chi for when the price of Quai comes down, so I can convert back and make some money. Yeah, yeah, I think that makes
Yeah,
sense. Okay,
track for me. Yeah.
okay. Man, I like it. Guys, so so many games that you can play on Quai Network. It blows my mind. It's honestly like hard for me to wrap my non-quant brain around sometimes. I'm just a script kiddie with a cypherpunk freaking ethos here. But when we talk about it with Dr. K in our tech AMAs and on Quai Friday, um, it just blows my mind how many new opportunities Quai Network is creating in what see, I would say it's mature in that people have like established behaviors in crypto at this point. Miners have established behaviors, traders have established behaviors, um, users, DeFi junkies, you know, people who like staking or all that jazz. There's all these like established behaviors in crypto, and like Quai just kind of opens the door for a whole bunch of net new opportunities for folks. Like Kashi's saying, like market makers have, additional arbitrage opportunities. You know, traders, with tracking like the price of Quai and Chi compared to other tokens. You got miners, who are able to like go risk on with Quai and risk off with Chi, and also do like hash rate arbitrage if they wanted to. And all these things are just totally, it's a beautifully designed system when you insert this concept of a mature market that is even further like pricing goods and services in an energy dollar. Um, I geek out on it like all the time. I have conversation. I have the privilege to have regular conversations with Steph McCurdy from Wolfram Blockchain Labs. Shout out to Steph and his whole team. They dive deep on these meta potential emergent behaviors that could come out of this stuff. And he's got a buddy Andreas who's going ham right now. They talk in terms of inference and the free energy principle, and these concepts just apply themselves beautifully across so many different domains. And one of the big unlocks that like I absolutely love, people like arriving at, is this concept of the energy dollar being driven by energy efficiency, right? So like the whole um, design of Chi as an energy dollar, uh, you can quickly understand it's like, okay, so it's emitted proportional to hash rate, which is aligned with energy inputs, but there are going to be efficiency gains both in compute and also energy, capture and distribution, right? And so like how do you plan for massive increases in energy efficiency, either in compute or just discovering new sources of energy that just blow the world away, right? Like how does that impact a global economy that's pricing their goods and services in chi? And like if you're diving deep on this stuff, you tend to have at least a certain set of blinders on in order to understand the problem. It's an absolute must. But when you come across that, you realize, first of all, like that's gonna impact the price of chi in a major way, right? And that your gut is gonna be, wait, that's not good, right? So I'll address, two things. First of all, like additional efficiency gains in compute is really easy to model. We have a lot of data on that, and there's diminishing returns after a certain point, right? So those have been baked into the system, right? What we cannot predict is efficiency gains in capturing new abundant sources of energy, right? And so the question is like, well, you know, how does the system work when somebody discovers like limitless energy, right? And the reality is like, wait, like we want people to discover limitless sources of energy, right? Like, yeah, that will tank the price of chi, right? But that's what you want. Like, you want all your goods and services to be as cheap as possible. Um, and so what you do when you take the blinders off at that point is you realize, like, wait a second, this system like actually incentivizes real innovation, investment, and will to be poured into driving better better use and efficient use of energy, making energy more abundant for everybody, and discovering net new sources of free energy. And when that happens, the entire world benefits, right? Not just, it's not that the price of chi plummets and we all go into like the dark ages. What happens is the price of chi plummets and we all have access to this new source of free energy, and the world is just a much better place because of it, right? So you don't have to spend, hundreds and hundreds of dollars on, fundamental goods and services anymore, like internet access, or, that stupid phone that you need to do everything these days, or like powering whatever it is you need to power, to like lights for a city, like everything just gets so much cheaper. um, and so that's one of the like the major unlocks that at least I came across when I was really deep diving like how this system works in a market incentive design way. So shout out to Cashy Mining for making the request. We're working on it. We're working on it. We're getting there. Definitely need to elevate this information for market makers for sure. Yep, we got to get to that mature market as soon as possible. Um, One of the things we talk a lot about at Quai is because it's market incentive designed, right? Because markets are the oracles to discover that price of chi. The first step is building a mature market in Quai, right? People immediately sometimes look at this Quai Chi conversion dashboard and they're like, man, I've been looking at this price and it's pretty variable, right? And like what do you have to say about that? And the answer is like, yes, it's designed so because immature markets can't discover prices, right? When there's a mature market, you do discover that price and it does become a stable value over time. So in order for that to occur, excuse me, we need mature markets in Quai because Quai is the only externally tradable token right now. The only external market for Chi is on a DEX on Quai, right? So as Project Soap rolls out, literally like any hour now, I think, in testnet, you'll see Quai Network and the Quai token begin to generate revenue for the protocol, which kind of defeats the negative pressure of having to pay for hash rate to secure the network, um, and makes it like a much more sustainable system that will incur price action, which generates a lot more attention and interest and users to come online who are sophisticated and mature and have the chops to participate in these more advanced market maker activities. And then you'll see Chi come to life, and our ability to get Chi listed in external markets will come to life as well. One of the biggest things I'm super excited for is this concept of running an atomic swap on Quai, right? So with SOAP, we're getting all these rewards from external proof of work blockchains that are not programmable, right? So Doge, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, right? Proof of work networks that do not have programmability, like Ethereum, like Quai, um, we'll have the volume to stand up a real atomic swap DEX that people will actually use, right? One of the problems with all the other atomic swap DEXs out there is they don't get the volume that people need to like actually have like a DeFi ecosystem in these proof of work networks. So when we have that constant revenue source from miners via Project Soap, we're creating that DeFi ecosystem that will absolutely like take proof of work into the next generation. Yeah, we will absolutely need more developers for that, right? But price, developers is kind of that chicken and egg problem that we're trying to solve, right? We can incentivize developers to come to Quai Network through grants programs. We have those. But until you see a lot of users on a network, you're not willing to invest in building on a network that doesn't have a market for your product, right? So price action begets users, begets the market for developers to come on board that I call it the 80/20 rule with developers in crypto. Like 80% of them are just bounty hunters. 20% of them are actually trying to build like real projects and products and build real companies. So finding that 20% that the foundation can really get behind is going to get a lot easier real soon. And with all this stuff being open source, at a certain point, there's nothing stopping anybody from building whatever the heck their heart desires, whatever the heck the market wants and needs. Um, yeah, more devs with only 50% of the power of Shikara. Shout out Shikara, masters in economics. That guy needs a break, man. He's going so hard. Uh,
Yeah, right.
we'll get him on a dev Q&A soon, guys. I know you guys have been asking for that. He is burning a lot of midnight oil getting Project Soap over the line. Pretty much writing probably 90% of the tests and working through all the kinks. So once Soap is live, we got to give the guy a little break, but then we're gonna drag him onto a dev Q&A. Maybe this Monday. We'll see how he feels. But um, yeah, shout out Shakara. He's the man. He's the man. Definitely the genius behind the simplicity of this controller. So yeah, 100%, 100%. QN lover, shout out. Good vibes all the way. Appreciate you guys. We're sitting here right now. We're just waiting for metrics to collect, honestly. So we're kind of shooting the shiz. Let me check the time. We got about 30 minutes left. But thanks for tuning in on YouTube, guys. Love to see you all here. Definitely, definitely having fun on YouTube, vibe coding with the community. Hope you guys are tuning in to our X Spaces every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Hopefully, you guys are also tapped in to our Discord server. We do events with the team again every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, where the community is more than welcome to join, ask questions, engage directly with us. Probably some odd hours for some of you, which is maybe why I'm catching you at this hour on this live stream. But hopefully we'll see you all there. And if you're if you have the opportunity, definitely check us out on X. We are live from my personal account right now and handing out free Quai via Kipper Money. So scan the link up above if you have an X account. It's a great way to earn some Quai. You get some Quai just for signing up, and our community is tipping everybody Quai. It's fun to watch. So engage with us on X and you're liable to earn a bag. But oh, it's been fun, guys. It's been fun. Crypto is a very interesting industry, and we're gonna try and do some more of this content. I've learned so much having the privilege of working with these guys here on the Quai team and getting a little peek behind the scenes on what it's like to launch an L1 in today's day and age, especially a proof of work L1. It's very interesting. Um, Group of companies in the crypto ecosystem. Uh, so maybe we'll do some more content on that soon because I don't think most people realize how new this industry is still. It's been around for almost 2 decades now, and it's still going through some growing pains, as Christopher stated earlier. A lot of hacks. Man, there was a big hack just the other day too.
Yeah, $10 million on Yearn.
That's
They
crazy.
exploited a unlimited mint issue, one of the contracts.
That's crazy, man.
Um, there's actually a website that collects and what's the right word? Just collects and consolidates all of the hacks that have happened. I'll send you. It's rec.news. Um, it's sad. Here's the thing, Matt.
Hmm.
I don't know if you want to get into a broader conversation or not. So if you don't,
Yeah,
just
we
let me
can.
know.
I'm not going to be able. It's going to be a while before we get some metrics to look at, so we can pivot.
2 decades, man. When you said it like that, I fucking threw a nail through my heart. I'm like not even kidding. Like I'm being real because the fact is this is tech, right? And tech generally gets PMF like overnight, basically. When it has real PMF. That's why you saw the drug dealers, and back in the pirate. I was about to say the Pirate Bay. Oh my god, Silk Road days, bro.
Yeah,
Right, and that PMF happened instantly. And the thing is, with look at okay, AI, perfect PMF is happening everywhere. Can't stop it. What else is popping up? Twitch, perfect PMF happened
hmm
overnight. So Justin TV, there were some precursors, obviously, but boom, and now suddenly 10 years, I'm thinking 2015, so probably a little bit more than that, but later it's literally everyday thing, and literally celebrities are on Twitch, are made on Twitch, etc., etc. Tech PMF happens really quick, and crypto happened really quick. However, after let's just say 2015 or 2017, however you actually want to view the history, what's happened to that adoption? It's been a slow trickle, and then if you look at the longer projections, will show the same adoption rate as the internet back in the 90s. So that's a great thing, and it's clearly going in that direction. But where's that PMF? Where's the one aspect of crypto besides the drug dealing thing from the from the early days that like overnight suddenly everyone's using? Where's that use case? Where's that PMF?
stables, right? And so, like I keep harping on this. Um, Stable coins are not your friend, guys. Like the US dollar is the most powerful currency in the world and it's been able to maintain its stability better than any other fiat currency out there. But that being said, it's still not great, right? The last few years we've seen double-digit inflation. When you look through history, fiat and fractional reserve banking has broke every economy that's ever tried it. And we have tried it over and over and over again throughout history. The difference with the US dollar is its global dominance, right? So while it should have broke many times, what's happened is they've been able to delay the pain of inflation by injecting U.S. dollars into new economies abroad, right? So post World War II, after we got rid of the dollar peg, and we opened up to the Chinese markets and all sorts of other global markets. Injecting the US dollar into those markets has effectively prolonged the life of this current fiat fractional reserve regime. And that only, has increased the potential pain when it collapses, um, and delayed it along the way. Now with stable coins, it is fiat of fiat, right? So like, what is fiat? Fiat is a receipt of an asset, right? And when you remove the gold backing, it's a receipt of a receipt, and that receipt is the asset is the credibility of the U.S. government and its system, right? So the US dollar is a receipt of the credibility of the US system. A stablecoin is a receipt on the US dollar, right? So, and then like without politics, without international treaties, without the involvement of like the World Trade Organization or the IMF, stablecoins are going to expedite the injection of US dollars into external economies around the world, which both continues to delay but also expedite the capture of the world by the US dollar, right? And as soon as the world is captured by the US dollar, there's nowhere else for the dollar to go, and the collapse becomes even more imminent. So we are prolonging the pain of a broken system collapsing, and we are exponentially increasing that pain by unloading it onto people all over the world, right? So that's a huge, huge problem. The other huge problem with this is there's absolutely no transparency, and it is centrally controlled, but not by a democracy, not by a government, by the people, for the people. It is centrally controlled by corporations. Um, some of those corporations, frankly, not beholden to the U.S. system. These corporations are actually co-opting the U.S. system. Think Tether and their desire to buy up all the government's debt, right? So this is a story that's played out multiple times in humanity's past, and this time it's really dangerous. It's really dangerous. So stablecoins are not your friend. Even private stablecoins owned by central authorities are still just perverse versions of our fiat fractional reserve banking system, and they are increasing and expediting the pain we're eventually going to see when the entire system collapses. Obviously, they're doing everything in their power to delay that collapse, and they've been doing it for a long time. And that's through like injecting more capital where it's needed, right? Printing more US dollars. And if you look throughout history, that is always the solution they choose, and it's always the wrong choice. Like the best way to cure ourselves of this is to just rip the fucking band-aid off, and it's never pleasant. But the founders of America explicitly stated like we should never have a fractional reserve banking system, and we should never ever allow anybody to print their own money. Full stop. They were actually proponents of using um, Spanish silver as the national currency in the beginning, which is really interesting because it was high quality, it was consistent, and yeah, real money backed by real value makes the world go around, folks. And every time these systems collapse, the good news is humanity turns around really quickly, right? Um, Smart people start hoarding good money and spending the bad money. And when there is no more bad money to go around, they open up their purses and they start spending the good money. and the economy gets bootstrapped again pretty quickly because humans provide a lot of value in everything we do, right? Everything creates value for someone else. I remember an economist at one point uh, jokingly, I think I was in college and I was watching a talk or something. He was talking about UBI, Universal Basic Income. So regardless of whether or not you are a fan of that, but I thought his comment on humans creating value that's not measured by economists was funny. He was opining on the value of mothers potty training their children, right? Like, if nobody was potty trained, that would incur a huge cost to society, right? But because we're all potty trained and we know how to use toilets, we're a much more efficient society, and that's a value that economists don't measure. I thought that was hilarious. So,
So, just in the interest of playing a little bit of devil's advocate, because you already
sure.
know that I do align on literally most of what you just said. But in the interest of just having a little fun conversation, what you just said is mostly an American centric view. The reason I say that is for obvious reasons, because we're both American. That's how we see it. But having the strongest currency in the world, the dollar, is a privilege and something that have been rapidly destroyed by their governments, right? And so when people in those countries, again, just using Nigeria as an example, want to preserve their wealth, they actually don't see the dollar in the same way, obviously, that our American centric point of view sees it,
Yep.
because in their perspective, the dollar is actually the most, maybe Bitcoin is an exception, but it's the most valuable currency as it's stable, and at least in terms of like preserving their purchasing power for themselves. Simultaneously, at least from their perspective, from everybody's perspective, really, except for us in America, it's not going to go anywhere. America is the number one. As once again, as QN lovers like spamming chat, love you, dude. Completely agreeing with my take here about how the rest of the world sees it in a completely different way. So I'm curious your take there because again I agree with you, and do have an answer of my own for this, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts here about a non-American centric point of view on the dollar and whether or not there's an argument to be made towards what you just said for non-Americans.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I put myself in their shoes and like I've lived in Afghanistan for a time in the U.S. Army, and the Afghani was totally useless to them. They wanted U.S. dollars, right? So I have some experience of that firsthand, and like totally makes sense. I can't fault them, right? To them, they have certain options when it comes to money. They spend the bad money and they hoard the good money, right? In this case, they got rid of the Afghanis as fast as possible and they kept the U.S. dollars as much as they could. Um,
That's
and
Gresham's law, by the way.
yeah, and so like those are the options that are available to them. Now, crypto has opened other options to them, right? So it's harder to get your hands on physical USD cash than it is to get your hands on some Tether or some USDC or name your stablecoin. It's so much easier to get your hands on that than it is physical US cash or get US cash in your corrupted state bank account, right? So that's what they're going to do. And I can't fault them for that. And like frankly, until we have mature markets in Quai Network, they don't have another alternative, right? Until Chi actually has liquidity and stability, and the tooling is there for them to use it in their local economies. They're going to continue to hoard USDC, USDT, or US dollars, right? Only the affluent among them are probably storing some of their wealth in Bitcoin because they have the ability to do that. But no other currency and can support the transaction throughput of USDT and USDC right now on like something like Solana or one of these Ethereum L2s. Now I would say you're not seeing, in my opinion, you're not seeing local merchants in those places except crypto, except for like when it's state sponsored, when the state is like, you're right, our fiat is trash. We're going to stand up infrastructure and support local businesses getting onboarded to crypto. If that's not happening, then local businesses are still, not really adopting crypto, just due to the inconsistency in fees, the lack of privacy, yada, yada, yada. And, even in places where the state has pushed it, they've pe- people don't people don't think too hard about this. They get all hung up on price go up, and so El Salvador has gone through a lot of pain trying to adopt Bitcoin as a local currency. Anyways, so long story short, I'll say I don't fault them. I totally understand them. I would do the same thing in their shoes. I would try to get my hands on as much U.S. dollars as possible. I am privileged to have the luxury to spend the time researching this stuff and challenging my belief systems, right? I'm not fighting for security or stability as much as people in like other places might be. And so I have like read a book or two and learned how to code and dove deep on like what money is and like how these blockchains actually solve these problems, and was privileged enough to discover Quai when I did. And Quai is not yet ready, right? But yeah, man, I would do the same thing as them. I would just say, what we all don't know, and even people in the U.S., frankly, probably the people in the U.S. are probably more ignorant of this fact than people in places where their fiat is trash. Um, is how this game actually plays out. When nation states are overly corrupt and take advantage of their local economies using fiat and fractional reserve banking. They go through these pains, and if they don't have the resources to recover, like you know, America didn't truly like go all in on fiat, like fiat backed by nothing. Like America started Forex. Like America started fiat backed by nothing. And we did that after World War II, after we had dominated the global economy with our shipping industry and our export and import industry. Um, After World War II, that's when we got rid of the gold backing. That's when we decided all currencies would float, and it was because we were in a position of power. Like we could do that, and everybody else had to follow suit because we dictated global economies. Other nations who try to adopt this model, when their economies collapse, they can't inject a bunch of capital. They're downstream of the U.S. dollar, in all of their value. Frankly, isn't able to keep up with the demand for imports and exports to the massive consumer base that is America. So they're probably much more familiar with the issues of this system than Americans are. We've been immune to it, frankly. That's my take.
Yeah, no, yeah, I like that take a lot. I'll say it's like, and I don't mean this in a condescending manner. It's mostly just because we live here, and I go to the store, and as a unit of account, everything's in U.S. dollars. Um, but we don't have to worry about securing our value in dollars. So it puts us a step ahead of other countries in terms of people trying to preserve their wealth using dollars. Like we don't have to go through a conversion process.
Right.
So, and we don't have to worry about that at all, meaning that we actually worry more about the value of the dollar, what backs the dollar, its origination, how it's controlled, all the policies behind it, more than just trying to secure dollars. We just care about broadly, and this will affect everyone down the line, but we're worried about the problem right now, technically, but 10, 20 years in the future, since we don't have to worry about preserving our wealth via dollars. So, what does that mean? It means quite simply that while I agree wholeheartedly, again, as you said, don't blame people for trying to preserve their wealth in dollars. I
Nope.
think that the ultimate outcome, and we all have a little bit of a different version of the ultimate end game or outcome. I don't think, as much as I want it to, if I'm being completely honest, I don't think fiat currencies are really ever going to go, or at least like a government issued currency. It's just advantageous for all governments to print their own money. Just period. Point blank period. Even if it's hyperinflated to absolute shit. You're printing your own money. Congratulations. And you're the government, right? Like that just seems to make sense, right? So what I would really like to see as endgame is the value that accrues via blockchain. So again, Chi, the energy dollar, backing those fiat currencies. And I think that would be the ultimate product market fit for us, is when a government starts their own chi, pool, their own chi reserve, simply because they need to back their own money with value. I think that to me is one of the ultimate end games for us, while still maintaining again that privacy via chi, that cash-like privacy, while still maintaining the cypherpunk ethos, of again in the best manner possible separating money from state. And what Quai has developed in a way does that again by providing values to the state, but technically separate from the state as well. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that, man. Like what I've learned researching history is that um, the desire to print your own money always comes from this understanding that the money supply is too limited, right? In other words, there's not enough money to keep the economy growing. And frankly, based on what I know, that narrative is always driven by bankers who want to loan their reserves, right? So the concept that the economy is not growing fast enough, it comes from the banker's observation that people want loans and they can't loan them money. And so the bankers want to print receipts on the assets they have in reserve. And so that's where this all stems from. Like the desire to print money comes from the assumption that there's not enough money in the economy. And I can't say 100% whether or not that is always a fallacy, but um, what I can say is that it is highly likely that your situation you just painted is definitely like a major milestone in the near future. That um, you know, central banks will back their currency with real assets again. And one of those real assets today is gold, right? We see the BRICS system saying 40% of their tokens are going to be backed by gold. You see America and other nations now wanting to back, their reserves with Bitcoin. And Chi can definitely play a role there. Um, but I mean, the reality is, it's all central banks, man. It's not governments. It's central banks. And central banks, as private institutions, were the stakeholders. are typically 40% foreigners, 40% foreign banks who own stake in the central bank. So the deeper you dig, um, I don't see uh, a benevolent money printer. I don't see one. I've never seen one. And
Only Satoshi.
right. Only miners. Whether you're mining gold or you're mining Bitcoin or Chi, those are the only benevolent money printers.
Yeah,
Um,
no, that's a great point. It is you got that's yeah a crux of my argument. Just it's well stated. Yeah, you're correct. Right, it's central banks. It's not governments.
right.
Now the central banks will say that they are the government, but we all know that's not true.
Well, they call themselves they name themselves after the government, right? Like the Federal Reserve was a name that was specifically chosen to not make people think about central banks, which is
I lived in and around the DC area for about 30 years,
mm,
and every single time I passed the Fed building, which wasn't often because it was located in a very a high traffic, but I didn't go very often area of DC, which is right off of Congress, right near Congress. Um, but I'd always get this like ominous feeling. Oh shit! It's 8 o'clock. Just letting you know, 1 minute away.
yeah, we won't get kicked, but we'll
Oh, okay.
start wrapping it up.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Um, anyways, yeah, the Fed, it was ominous. Always bad vibes going by. That's all I was really gonna say. Private doesn't look private. If you've ever seen the actual Fed itself, the actual building, it is a beautiful building. It's a disgusting building actually, but it's not your. It looks nice, just to say that. They did an interesting job when putting it together. Just it's a nice looking building. The architecture is interesting. But yeah, they're not the government. And this is something that everyone thankfully mostly knows nowadays. And over the last 15 years has finally become common knowledge,
Yeah,
right? So someone like
thanks.
me who's stood firm for a long time now, like you, like Dr. K, like Alan, like everyone else on the Quai team, we haven't really changed our like line, so to say, our thought, how we see these things. So it's nice that now it's commonplace. We've definitely come a long way from just the fringe, hiding in the shadows and fucking sharing these ideas. Now we can talk about them all the time. It's pretty awesome.
Right. Yeah. One last shout out to the chat. QN Lover says, "Chi is the real energy dollar." Here, here. But what Elon Musk said about Bitcoin is was over his head that day. I'll just say this. Energy is the fundamental input into everything. So it is the real currency. I think it was Buckminster Fuller who said, wealth is not money, but the ability to use energy. So when Elon Musk talks about energy as a currency, I believe that's what he's referring to is really because energy is the fundamental input and wealth is your ability to use and dispatch energy to get things done. Um, that's why he says energy is the ultimate currency. Um, he also said that's why he says Bitcoin is based in energy. So he's making two different statements there. He's saying energy is the ultimate currency, and he wants people to realize that because we think about Bitcoin as a currency, and a currency based in energy is a better currency. Now, our argument, or at least my argument, is that Bitcoin is uh, uh, not necessarily based in energy. And the reason why is because its emissions are not tied to the amount of energy put in to create it, right? Whereas chi is emitted proportional to the amount of energy put in to create it, right? So that's why Chi is more of an energy dollar than Bitcoin is. And my personal conspiracy theory here that I want everybody to push is Elon Musk has his fingers in everything that's happening in Austin, Texas, and because Quai Network and Chi was created in Austin, Texas, he's now inserting these statements into the narrative because he's a Quai Nation member and he doesn't want to make the same mistake he made with Doge. He doesn't want to call it outright and get slammed and be drug through the ecosphere. So I
Well,
personally believe Elon
I,
Musk is a Quai Nation member.
yeah, he will be if he isn't already. I mean, okay, two things. I know we got to dip. Um, I don't think he fucked up with Doge. I think his head was in the right place. Right, like he just
I
wanted a meme
I
coin to
think
go to $1. That
I
was
think
it.
he was trolling
Yeah,
and probably
totally.
got bit for it.
But he's a billion. Like we control, and we're not billionaires, right? And so
All
there's no
right.
ramifications. But he's a billionaire, so when he trolls, right, there's ramifications. What was the second point? Um, yes, this one's a little bit more precise, but especially when it comes to understanding what you just said, the dynamics of real energy-based currency, the truth and getting it right is more important now
Hmm.
over anything else. If we have billionaires, high, profile, the president of the United States, the richest man in the world, talking about Bitcoin, they need to talk about it correctly. And if the narrative forms around untruthful, incorrect statements about Bitcoin, how it operates, energy-based currency, its security model, its issuance, the fact it's store value only, there's no more changes ever, as we literally sit here with Ocean and a soft fork debate between those guys, Knots and Core. Um, Getting it right is so, 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 so important. And so to see Elon Musk talk about Bitcoin as energy currency is like half correct. It's just not, as you said, um, the emissions do not correlate with the actual block difficulty and the difficulty required to mine blocks, right? And so that's huge. And I think most people just see things on the surface level, and so it gets too technical too quick. For Elon Musk would be no problem, but too technical too quick for too many people to try to understand a lot of that nuance. So they keep it as simple as possible. Hey, it's gold. It can't go anywhere. There's only 21 million. There's no issues, right? And if
Right.
that narrative takes hold, then we're fucked. Point blank. Period. So
Yeah.
our goal really is to, again, and I want to just say this, but if we don't educate the people in power and the people that actually have the microphone on the actual issues that underlie Bitcoin, we're actually going to be set up in probably one of the worst crashes ever. If I'm being real, my guy, where crypto becomes completely correlated with the economy, and then a crash happens because the Bitcoin security budget went awry, and the next halvening comes, and then miners aren't making enough money, and then one after another, after another, after
Yeah.
another. So
Well, we
that's really
we covered that on our last live stream. They were talking about it, Bitcoin Amsterdam, right? There are no transaction fees. We got issues.
yeah. No one wants, yeah, dude. At Mining Disrupt, this was coming up actually quite often. People are like, people just got to start using Bitcoin. And like, I just didn't want to be that guy in the moment, but it's just like, bro, no one's using Bitcoin because it's store value. It's the one thing you promote. That's why people don't want to use it.
Right. Well,
Anyways,
then they can't. It doesn't have the throughput.
yeah.
So more that out the to follow up with that, real briefly, right? Like not long afterwards, there was a video from I think it was Bitcoin Plus. They were talking to a bunch of Lightning Lightning creators and developers and users, and they were like, man, sometimes the transaction fee on Lightning is higher than it is on the Bitcoin L1 because more people are using Lightning than they're using the L1. So.
Wait, the L2 doesn't scale? What?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, their transaction fees are going up.
Yeah.
because more people are using Lightning than Bitcoin, and so they were like, no, like there's many times when a transaction on the L1 is cheaper than Lightning. Like, and they were like, how are we gonna fix Lightning? It's like hilarious, hilarious.
Yeah, I think the time to fix Bitcoin was a decade ago,
Yeah, it
and
really
now
was.
it would. I think I don't know. It gets depressing really quick, but it just sucks to see to know the truth and then to go to these conferences and to hear this like bullshit lie get propagated everywhere. Or even worse is when people just turn the blind eye and pretend like nothing's wrong. It's
It's
like people just don't learn.
it's a religion now. It's a religion. But we are definitely going to disrupt the heck out of that, guys. So stay tuned for more. We got to wrap it up. I gotta go get some steak in my tummy. And get back after it early morning tomorrow. Teams burning midnight oil, getting Project Soap out the door. That is the game changer we should all be looking for, guys. Keep your eyes peeled for more updates there. That is going to churn all that mining sell pressure into real revenue generated for the network, which benefits everybody, benefits miners, benefits users, benefits this tiny BDM team that's trying to spread the mission and vision as wide as we can. It'll help bring more builders on chain as the users show up, build that mature market that Kashi was talking about, and get some market makers on board with taking advantage of the arbitrage opportunity, helping us create Chi as the world's first decentralized energy dollar, not pegged to fiat, backed by real value, with privacy properties of cash and the throughput for the entire world to use as money. I hope you guys are as bullish as I am. Again, like always, if you're new around here, check that QR code up top. If you join us on X, you have earned some free Quai. I have definitely tipped everybody on X who was chatting and commenting along the way. For those of you on YouTube, big shout out to you guys. You guys absolutely rock. Definitely give my account a follow on X if you can, and if you prefer YouTube, that's great. Kipper is coming to other platforms real soon, but slide by on X next time and earn some free Quai. Definitely want to hook you up for engaging in chat. And Twitch is dead as hell, guys. So go give us a follow on Twitch. The crypto community there is definitely growing. There's a large following of the crypto category. So lots of people definitely have opportunities that we don't want them to miss. So we're here with the cypherpunk ethos, building the solution that Bitcoin promised, but this time for real with intelligence from both economics and physics, real market incentive design behind an L1 that can scale to the world. So I think I've said enough. Any final words, Christopher?
Um, no, I think that was solid. I think that I just want to say, I guess before we part, um, it's a little unfortunate that Soap didn't hit testnet tonight, but I was hoping to have that live on stream. Totally fine.
No.
Going to happen in just a couple days here, guys. Definitely take a look. We are so early, and I hate saying that because everyone says that in crypto, as we talked about tonight, Matt. We're like
Right.
20 years into crypto now, so it pains me to say that, but we're pre-soap. We're pre-government adoption of Chi to provide value for their own fiat. Guys, we're pre the energy dollar, really. It hasn't
Yep.
been fully realized yet. There's a lot to be excited about. So I'm actually going to try to get a little less excited so I can go to sleep. That's how excited I am about Quai. Every single day, guys. I'll see you guys in the metaverse. I'll be out there tipping on Kipper as usual. Make some good posts on X, and you'll see me in your comments.
Heck yeah. Appreciate it, Christopher. Thanks to the audience. We'll be back on Thursday, but you can catch us in Dr. K's Tech AMA tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central. That's always a good time as well. Hope to see you all there. and again on Friday and Thursday. Back here on Thursday, on X, Quite Friday on Friday, on Discord and X tomorrow. So, peace out, guys. See you then. Later.